First meeting to order. We're going to open with a moment of silence and praise, but before we open the moment of silence, I'm going to ask Ms. Rapowski if she would like to make a couple of comments.
Good afternoon, and I would like to make a comment prior to our moment of silence. I would like to ask those of you present and here this evening, as we have our moment of silence, that we continue to keep in our thoughts and prayers, if you so desire, our student at Sullivan Heights Middle School that we lost tragically last week. His passing has been one of a lot of thought at our middle school. That service was this afternoon, and it was certainly a difficult situation. So please keep that family and our school family in your thoughts and prayers as we have our moment of silence.
Let's stand for the moment of silence, please.
Attention. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we will go into recess while Ms. Rapowski presents the awards.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our December board meeting. I've told our board already this evening, this is always my favorite board meeting of the year. I love having our families here, I love having our students here, and I hope all of you have been able to look and view this beautiful table of artwork. We annually ask our students if they want to participate in our annual Christmas card contest. And what we do with these entries, and this year we had over 100 and selected 11, is we actually feature those on our Christmas card from Sullivan County Schools that we send to people all over the state of Tennessee. The governor's office will get one, the state representatives, senators, we send these everywhere. And we always get lots of really good feedback about our Christmas card contest. So certainly something that I enjoy tremendously each year. So I'm looking forward to recognizing our students, their art teachers, and their principals here this evening, and also you as their parents. So thank you very much for being here. So the first group that I'm going to recognize are our elementary students. And they're going to help me a little bit when we get up here to look at their artwork. But our first recipient is Aria Fernando from Mary Hughes. Is Aria here? Yes. Hi, Aria. How are you? Where's your piece of artwork?
Right back there.
Oh, the star. I love your star. So we have that for you. And I want you to hold it and stay there. And we're going to fill your hands. So I'm going to give you a bucket as well. And I've got a bag. You can see you're very talented. Look at that. You're already more talented than me or
Definitely.
Is your art teacher here this
She
evening?
wasn't
Miss
able
King?
to come. She wasn't able to come.
She wasn't able to come, but we certainly still want to recognize her this evening. And Mr. Gentry, would you come up here and stand with this lovely young lady?
Miss Keaton.
That's for you. And that's for Miss Kim. All right. All right, would you all like to take pictures? And I'm going to try to situate myself over here a little bit better.
I guess, let's get
Get your pictures. Thank you.
all right.
Thank you very much. It made a beautiful card, and in their buckets, each one of the students actually gets one of the cards that we printed. And inside is our greeting, and that it's, and on the back is her name and her school. And that's what goes out all over. So congratulations, Aura. I have to admit, I loved your artwork. Thank you. Iverson, I'm gonna give you those,
Absolutely.
and if you'll give me their envelope, as I call, if you can find Aria's there,
I don't have it yet. When you're home.
I'm gonna give them their original artwork back. This is actually her original artwork that was submitted. We redid it so that it's good for framing. All right, next is Emma Carrier here. Ah, here comes Emma. All right, Emma, where's yours? Ah, the snowman. Look at this. Look, turn around here. What grade are you in? 4th grade. Isn't this not beautiful? And we have her original artwork here for her as well. And you get a bucket too. You gonna make it? And she gets a bag as well.
How that even?
You wanna help her?
No, you got it figured out.
Look at this. They're very, very talented. It's beautiful. Our next contest winner is Miss Molly Broadhead from Rock Springs. Art teacher is Trey Rafalowski and her principal Alicia Dinsmore. So would you all come up too and accompany her? Where's the artwork, Molly? Go ahead and pick it up and bring it down, bring it right here. Molly, did you have some inspiration for this piece of artwork? That's great, and I'm gonna ask your art teacher to help you over here with this. Holding her stuff. Well, I noticed that you had the Christmas tree, and I thought maybe with the Christmas tree you had some hopes of something special being under that tree. Is there something special that you're looking for under that tree this year? That's okay. Ask Mr. Rafalowski, does he have something he's hoping for under his tree?
New pair of socks.
A new pair of socks. I think I can have Santa take care of that. All right, this is Miss Molly from Rock Springs. What grade are you in? 4th grade again. So, again. I'm going to get her original for her as well. Yeah, here's her original. Thank you. Our next recipient is Mr. Samuel Campbell from Emmett. Art teacher, Elizabeth Bernathy, and principal, Dr. Michelle Murray. Come on up here. How are you? Do you see your artwork on this table? Show me. The snowman, yes. come right over here with them and stand there and hold it up. So, did you have an inspiration when you did this snowman? It wouldn't have anything to do that you might want it to snow? If it snows, do you plan on making a snowman? Do you like to make snowmen? Sort of? Okay. All right, well, congratulations. Beautiful piece of artwork from our 5th grader at Emmett, and congratulations to the teacher and the principal as well. Thank you. That's his original. Now for our middle school. Adeline McDavid. How are you, Adeline? See your artwork? Oh, yeah. The Santa costume and the belt. Buckle. And is Heather Parks here? Come up, Heather, and Dr. Fields. Did we have an inspiration for the for this? This is a wonderful piece of art. Whenever I go to Central, Ms. Hart's always has lots of student artwork on display. And before I ever enter the office, I go straight to the trophy cases because that's where she likes to put them. And she does a great job, as all of our art teachers do. But I love seeing the art on display at Central whenever I go in there. So congratulations. And I'm going to get your original for you right now. Thank you. Next, we have Addie Cunningham here. Her art teacher, Jamie Hyder, could not be here this evening because of another commitment. She is Mr. Stonka, or that's okay.
I'm here.
Gotcha, Deborah. All right, well, where's your artwork? She has a beautiful piece of artwork in a snow scene here. Get all kinds of stuff when you come to a board meeting. Everybody's going to want to come back. Here is your original artwork as well. I love that. Very proud of you. Thank you very much. Love your artwork. Is Miss Addie Cunningham here? Oh, Adeline. Okay, Isaiah Valencia. Is Isaiah here? Okay. What about Emma Nunu? Is Emma here?
She's not able to be here, but I can do it.
Mrs. Oka, her art teacher, is here this evening, as is her principal, Dr. Davis, if he'll come up. Her, oh yes. I have several who requested that they want to bid on that. That's right here. Here is her original piece of art.
Thank you.
And tell her that we certainly missed her this evening, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And you two can stay up here
Yeah,
because we have
let me
one more.
let me set this here.
Holly and to Dr. Davis. Also from West Ridge, we have Sienna Shanks, and her artwork is right back here.
Well, this is Rachel Parker from Westridge.
Let's go with Rachel, because I think we got the.
Rachel is here.
All right, Rachel? Yes, we got it right.
These are all your goodies, Rachel.
Thank you. Rachel, here's your original artwork as well. I'm gonna let you, I'll hold that for you while you hold that. Rachel did something that was pretty unique, we thought. As she hung her stockings on her fireplace, she hung a stocking that represented each one of our schools. So each one of these stockings has one of our school names on it, and she represented the entire school district, so thank you. That was a great idea. Thank you. It is Ms. Brooks, you'll come up. Thank you, Ms. Zogo. All right, is Bailey here? Bailey Bever, which one? Yes. She has the hot cocoa. Bailey is currently in the 10th grade at East High School. Her principal's not here this evening because they have a home basketball game. He did send us a note and he did say to congratulate you. Your art teacher, Deborah Brooks, is here. Deborah's kind of old hat at this, aren't you? She's here just about every year with the Christmas card winner, so congratulations to her. But with yours, did you have an inspiration?
I just kind of thought of what reminded me of Christmas.
So that's very good. That kind of reminds me of Christmas too. So congratulations and thank you. All right, Sienna Shanks, who is in the 12th grade at East High School, also one of Deborah's art students. From East High School, she's not able to be here this evening, but Deborah will take care of getting this to her and congratulating her for us. And see if Santa has anything else there. You and Mr. Hare. You're welcome. So that leaves my one right there, I think. Or I may have missed one. Before we finish, what I would like to ask is if our parents of all of our winners this evening would stand up. Our parents. Thank you all so much. I know every Christmas at my house, I have a piece of artwork that my son did when he was in kindergarten. And it's a Christmas tree with some cute little ornaments on it. And I love pulling that out every year at Christmas time. I hope that this artwork that your children have done will be a constant reminder for you at Christmas time of their talents, their gifts that they bring to all of us, not only you all, but thank you for letting us share, for you to share your children with us and us to get to see their gifts as well. But just a real good feeling about when we get to have this presentation. So thank you all and congratulations again. Thank you.
leave.
Oh, isn't he also one of the others?
Back in session. Next on our agenda will be approval of the agenda, and remember, when we approve the agenda, we're also approving the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion with Mr. Anderson, do you have a second? Second by Dr. Rouse. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved as printed. Next on our agenda is the Director of Schools search. We'll get into the details of that here just in a moment, before you will vote on your two top finalists. But before we do and know who they are, I'll entertain a motion concerning second interviews. During the board work session, we had a discussion about doing second interviews and the process there. I think it would be wise for us to memorialize that by putting in the minutes. Dr. Rouse proposed during the work session that we allow Dr. Bentley, who was the moderator at the last meeting, to put together different scenarios, and then that she would be the one to present those to the two finalists during a public interview for the second round. And that if individual board members had questions that you wanted me to send to Dr. Bentley, that you send those to me, and I will send them to her so she can add them to the list. If that's something that you want done, I would ask that you put that in motion, if that's the way it is, and that we would vote on that and proceed then with the vote tonight to come up with the two finalists.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to have a second interview with that only, and just that separate issue to be discussed separately.
So your motion is to have the second interview with no details on how we do it.
Let's see if that passes.
Okay, Mr. Hughes makes the motion to have a second interview with no details provided ahead of time. And I would assume that during the second interview that each board member will be free to ask the questions that they wanted to ask without running those through any type of moderator or anything else. Is that?
You want to repeat that?
Or is your recommendation or your motion to have the second interview, but not have any questions presented ahead of time to anyone, but to allow us to present those that night?
My motion is to have a second interview. Those things to be determined after we find out if we get the vote.
Okay. Motion is to have a second interview, no details provided. Do I have a second on that motion?
I mean, I'll second that in the sense that we can always still just, I understood Mr. Hughes to just say we want to establish we're going to have a second interview, so
Right.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion is basically to have a second interview. So I have a motion, have a second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I understand what the motion is, but I guess I go back to the original thing. I'd like for us to put ground rules in, like, before it starts versus saying we're gonna tailor this to be something after we know the names. I would just rather it be upfront and just, and where we go, so, I'm not in favor of that. I'd actually make a motion to amend, actually, and the motion to amend was that we do the questions, as Dr. Rouse said in our work session, as far as getting them together and then sending questions to you and let you provide them. I would just rather us have the process up front versus a blank slate.
Mr. Iverson has recommended an amendment. Do you accept that amendment, Mr. Hughes?
Mr. Iverson, I just thought we would discuss that after we saw we were gonna have second interviews. I don't really have a problem with things we talked about per se. I just thought that we could have that as a separate issue and discuss it after the fact. I don't.
I understand what you're saying.
I believe we could hash out how we want to do the questions after we see we're gonna have a second interview.
I guess I'm kind of confused. It's pretty much all, I thought in agreement was having a second interview is narrowing it down to 2, so I don't understand why we don't put all the rules to the second interview all in one, I guess is where I'm confused.
I really just think maybe the rules could be a little complicated in one motion. I don't really have a problem with it other than that. Just so that, you know, they're simple and clear. I mean, really isn't that big a deal.
Your motion is to have a second interview, though, is that correct?
That's my motion.
And that was how you seconded the motion. So the motion is to have a second interview of the 2 finalists.
I have a motion to amend.
Right,
If
but
I get a
I'm
second.
clarifying what his motion was originally. The motion was to have a second interview, and your motion is to amend and
Put the guidelines now.
put the guidelines in now. And the guidelines being,
Dr. Bentley coming up with questions, us sending stuff to you for you to send off to Dr. Bentley also. And then in the middle of the process, if we have questions, we can ask questions in the middle of and at the end of the process. For us, absolutely for us.
and then additional questions would be available for us should we
Yes.
have need to do that. We would have to assume that Dr. Bentley could do the moderating, and I don't know that she could. And it would have to be at the date that we said, so I think that would be important. She did a great job doing the moderating Monday night. Super professional. And, but under your amendment, we would have.
Let me change the amendment then, Dr. Bentley or the selected moderator.
Okay.
That way it covers it if she cannot do it.
So the motion then is to have second interviews, questions to be presented to the moderator, Dr. Bentley or a selected moderator, and she would develop the scenarios, the questions that would need to be asked. If you have questions that you want that are individual, you present those to me and I send them to the moderator of choice. But on the night of interviews, if there's additional questions, each board member would have a chance to ask additional questions.
I can live with that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay? Mr. Hughes accepts that amendment. Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. King.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes?
Mr. Iverson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Dr. Rouse,
Yes.
Mr. Spivey.
Yes.
Now, before we go to the ballot, is there any additional discussion that you want to have concerning the interviews that we had Monday night? Mr. Rupp, I ask you just ask if we want to set a date for second interview before we get into it. And tomorrow night?
What timeline are we looking at? Because we didn't really speak of that.
Well, we didn't speak to the timeline, but I think we need to do it before Christmas, get second interviews in, to try to obtain our goal of having hopefully the decision is made by early January anyway, if not before January. I know you can't do, what about Thursday night, December the 8th? How's that? You've been in Nashville?
What about the 15th?
15th? Nope.
Yeah, I can't do Thursdays, personally.
Well, what about the 14th? You can't?
The 13th works.
You
better.
can't.
13th would be.
You can't.
No, I can do.
Oh, you can't, okay.
I can't.
I can't do
What'd you say,
it.
Mom?
I can't do the 13th.
Look at Monday the 12th. Can you do Monday the 12th?
Yeah,
Was the 14th the now?
I cannot, I
Oh,
cannot.
sorry.
Can you do Monday the 12th?
Yeah, I can make it work.
You can make it work.
I can make it work.
Yeah, good question.
Now, something not discussed during work session. Do we need to do 2 nights of interviews, one for each candidate? We're coming up with 2 finalists. Folks, this is one of the most serious decisions we've got to make in the next, hopefully, year or 2. We don't know, need to be, huh?
Hopefully more than that.
I hope so. Sometimes we schedule 2-hour blocks or 1 hour, 1.5 hours. If we do 2 nights, 1 night for each individual.
I don't have a problem doing 2 nights, but we can go both ways.
Should we start at 1 or 2?
All this is probably work schedule.
I'll have to check and make sure I ain't got nothing on the books already that day, is the thing. I looked at it today, but I didn't look at it around. I looked for next week. I'm a next week kind of guy, so I can check tomorrow and let you know.
Would the 12th and 16th work if that's what we're doing? I mean, would that be Monday, Friday, but same week?
We can't do the 16th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's half day for students and, right? Plus, I think there might be a ball game in there. What did we decide on the 13th? Was that out?
Yeah, I can't do the 13th.
Well, we looked at the 8th, but then we jumped straight to the next week with the 6th or 7th work. We sort of just skipped over that entire week because of Thursday didn't work.
You've
Or
got to
is that
give,
too
you've
soon?
got to
That's
give
too
Dr.
soon.
Bentley time to put together the
Too soon, yeah, you're right.
scenarios and questions, and that's why I skipped next week.
Valid point, good point.
You said before Christmas, we could go into the 19th and 20th. And another question, we're not gonna choose the night after the second interview anyway. We're gonna have some time to think and look and dig and. We're not gonna make a final choice the night of the second interview.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, I'll make it the January meeting most likely. If not,
If you want to schedule an all-day event on Monday the 12th, I do one early in the day and one later in the day. Because 1 or 2 of you made a point at the last meeting, sometimes it's nice to sit around and talk with some individuals, and that would give you a chance to do an early morning brunch with the candidate and get to know that candidate a little bit better. And then in the afternoon, I don't know if Ms. Robinson can handle eating twice in a day like that or not, but
We'll have high tea. Brunch and high tea.
is that in the afternoon?
So we're changing this from like 1 or 2 to breakfast. Is that where we're going? I just want to make sure. I do know I have a class that morning, so.
Say 11 or 12 maybe? What time you done?
It depends on how long I take. They're usually 4-hour classes. It just, I could probably earliest I could do would probably be 12.
What if we do one at 12:30 and one at 4:30?
If I'm with me.
And that may be more time than we need, but I think we need to be fair with candidates, and we need to take whatever time time as needed.
I think the good part about that gives them some time too, and you can probably work with their schedules, one's gonna work better day, one night, so.
So 5:30 and 4:30. Matthew, you do it, both Matthews? Very good on that. Anything else we need to decide before we decide who it is we're interviewing? I'm gonna give you a ballot, and I would ask that you circle your two finalists, and that you sign and date the ballot. We need to have this as part of the record. There were some questions several years ago, long before I was on the board, but superintendent search, and he voted how, so for our protection of mine, I want to make sure we have this on file. If you'll pass it back in to me, I will read these into the record. Ready for tally? Do mine first. Carter and Davis. This one's Davis only. Carter and Davis. And I'm sorry, I was supposed to put the names with that. The Davis only was Mr. Hughes, and the last one that was Carter and Davis was Dr. Rouse. Carter Henley. That's Mr. Iverson. Carter Davis. That's got to be Matthew Spivey's. I couldn't read it. Carter Davis, Matthew Price. Carter Penley, Mr. Robinson. I did not keep a tally. Would you give me the tally back, Ms. King?
Carter 6. Davis 5, Penley 2.
All right, read those again.
Carter 6. Davis 5. Penley 2.
The results: Chuck Carter 6, Josh Davis 5, Dieter Penley 2. The two finalists will be Charles Carter and Josh Davis. We will schedule those interviews for the 12th. Let me make sure I got that date right. The 12th, 12:30 and 4:30. Mr. Davis is present in the back. Can you handle the 12th for a second round? And I will contact Mr. Carter. Okay. We're gonna do a drawing to see who goes at 12:30 and who goes at 4:30.
It's only fair way, it's always done first round.
All right, Mr. Wagner. So you can't say you have no involvement. Since you weren't paying attention, you need to come up here and choose one of these two sheets.
You sure?
I am sure. Pull one of them. One of those two. And this is for the 12:30 appointment. 12:30 is Mr. Carter. And unless Mr. Alphonse cheated, Mr. Davis is at 4:30. Can you handle 4:30? Board members, if you would give me questions early on, look
taking semester exams. And this is only our high school students. And our high school students will be taking 2 exams each day and will be dismissed half days on both of those days. That is December 15th and 16th. December 16th is our last day for all students, and we will be dismissing half day on that day for the Christmas holidays. Again, it's hard to believe that we're sitting here December the 1st. In just a few weeks, we'll be celebrating Christmas. This year, our staff and students are off the week prior to Christmas and the week after Christmas. So take this opportunity this evening to wish all of those in our school district a very Merry Christmas, as well as our board. Chairman Jones, that's all I have this evening for the director's comments.
We are down to new business then, so you're back on with policies.
Yes, sir. The first policy I have this evening is policy 3.202, the emergency preparedness plan. I asked this policy be on the agenda for first reading only. There is a question that I will pursue in this policy and try to come back in January with an answer. But in a nutshell, this policy is bringing forward the necessity and the requirement for all school districts across the state of Tennessee to have a remote learning drill. And we will, I will get some more information on that. That is a result of public chapter number 936 from the last legislative session. So again, that is on first reading, Chairman Jones. The next item on the agenda is policy 4.212, the virtual education program. Public chapter 897 allows districts to utilize virtual instruction for up to 2 days each semester. These options can be used in certain scenarios such as severe weather, serious outbreak of illness, and assessments like EOC exams and ACT. This is an updated version of policy 4.212.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Dr. Rouse?
Yes.
Mr. Spivey?
Yes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Mr. Iverson?
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is the Henry Har Road property, which I brought up during the work session. I provided you with several pieces of information in regard to that property. This property is located on the back side of the ridge from West Ridge High School. There actually is a farmhouse and a 4-car garage located on one parcel of that property. There's the possibility of additional land that is there being divided into another parcel. My intent when putting this on the agenda was for discussion. At this point, I do not have a recommendation unless the board entertains a recommendation this evening, but it was something that I did want to bring to the attention of the board and start having a discussion. Thank you.
I'd like to recommend that we put that on the agenda for our January meeting to talk about some possible uses of it, give us a little time to look at some options and consider what Mr. Robertson had to say about maintenance garage.
Mr. Jones, while we're still in new business, can I ask one favor? That we've had, I've been up here for 6 years, we've had things go through great, we've had things go through poorly. This system was probably vintage 1980, and it's poor. It continues to fail, it continues to cut out, it continues, there's no speakers up here that really help us out, and some of us are having a little bit of trouble hearing. I'd like,
You're getting personal now.
yeah, exactly. But if possible, could we look at an upgraded system, a new system? I mean, there's some of these that actually work with hearing aids, or you can plug in headsets to. We just need to look at something better, because I think we can do better. But before we find out, it would be great for us to get a pricing and just get some information about a system.
We did get a price one here a few years back, about 5 years ago, I think, and it was very extensive. And keep in mind, we do not own this building.
Right.
We lease it, and from the county, I think.
We lease it from the county government.
But, I mean, they may not be opposed to
Do you
us
think you
helping.
might get some support there from?
I can try. Yes, I can try. But I mean, I think it's something but I would like for us to say this is what we would like, instead of somebody else telling us this is what you get.
Right.
So,
I'd like to hear better from our speakers too.
Yes.
Out in the audience, when they come up to speak, it's not fair that I can't hear that well, and those speakers, the mic is just not working.
the whole system, would be nice if we had a good system. And so if we can say, this is what we would like, at least us decide what it would be. And I'm sure the health department needs to be a part of that conversation, because they still use it too, but it would be good if we were able to do something. It needs improvement.
Okay, I agree. I like the Bluetooth idea myself.
Yeah, I'm great.
Bluetooth.
Absolutely. We're big here.
The system we looked at before, Mr. Jones, was geared toward video, to videos and all. I'd be satisfied if I could hear each other and hear.
Yes.
Get Christian microphone too.
Yeah. Public comments, non-agenda items is next on our list, so Curtis Litton. You come up to the microphone if there was one there.
I don't even see one.
There's actually not, the whole podium's over it.
I know.
Actually,
It wouldn't matter if we can hear.
Obviously, I'll just speak loud about that. Y'all have already done the heavy lifting for tonight. I'm just here for a few policy amendments. So, the first one is, currently for a schedule change, the policy is you're allowed 2 days. Okay, so that's, from the very beginning, you get 2 days. What I'm asking is that be amended to 5 days. Because when we go to make a schedule change, first you're referred to the teacher, then you're referred to the school counselor.
Read about high school schedule changes?
Yes. Sorry, or just, that's what this pertains to, yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, you refer to the teacher first, because that's where you should start, then you go to the counselor, and then after that, then you refer to the vice principal to make the change. With everybody's busy schedule, that's a lot to do in 2 days. All I ask is that it becomes a 5-day, and you begin it in the 5-day window, and then we can move forward from there. Also, for any AP classes, I recommend anyway that the teacher be mandated to give the assessment on day 1. That way, the students, the teacher, and the parents, if they're involved, understand where that student ranks for that class moving forward. If they have the knowledge to succeed, if they do not, let's pull them back and put them in a place where they can. Okay? The second one is just professionalism. correspondence for me, when I was in the school system, was a big thing. I would email, I would correspond with teachers, I would correspond with parents, everybody, because parent involvement is big. If you can get parents involved, then the student has a better chance to succeed. I would ask that you put in a policy somewhere that says any correspondence, whether it be phone, email, anything, if a parent or a student reaches out to a teacher, administrator, whatever, that be responded to in at least a 2-week time frame. I don't think that's too much to ask, really. I'm not asking for a dissertation. I'm just saying, hey, I got your email, check with Joe. Pretty simple, right? And the third one is, one, I wanted to thank you because you have implemented a lot of safety strategies to make the students better, to make them safer. As a parent, that's my greatest fear, is that, you know, a school shooting happened and I lose a child. I mean, you implemented SROs, that is fantastic. At the old Colonial Heights, you implemented a second entrance, so you came through one door, they called it the Goldfish Bowl, you were in a waiting area, then you had to get buzzed through the second area. Those things are fantastic. I would ask that you take it a step further and say that no student will have a key card to get into a school. My daughter is a great student, but she's forgetful. She loses her car keys once a week. If she was granted one of these, she would possibly lose it. It could get in the wrong hands. It also makes the students who have those key cards a target. If I'm a school shooter and I know that so-and-so has a key card, then that's where I'm gonna go. It'd be a lot easier to take that key card from a student than it would a teacher. And that's all I ask. Oh, let's have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we just keep on shooting?
Do we ask that?
Do we have to use the keys to?
Not to my knowledge.
We need to use it.
I will. I would ask Mr. Litton,
Yes, ma'am.
if you would, could you see me after the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
We talked about our January meeting during the work session. You did that intentionally, Mr. Iverson. January the 10th, 4:30, work session, and 6:30, board meetings. But something we did not talk about, we need to schedule a time to vote on the director of schools, because it takes a 15-day notice if we are voting. And we're interviewing on the 12th, tonight's the 1st, so the earliest we could meet and vote would be 15th or 16th.
Could that be an agenda item for the January meeting, or do you want it done prior to that?
Well, I guess it could be, that'd be the first item on the agenda on the January meeting. I don't know if you want to wait that long or not. After interviews on the 12th, that's a month after interviews. And if we announced it tonight, you could do it on the 15th, but I think the 15th was out. But we could also do it on Monday, the 19th of December. That's after school's out. We had something going on the 19th, didn't we? Okay. Is Monday the 19th something that you all can do?
Is this gonna be a one agenda item meeting?
Yes,
Or come in and vote?
anytime we offer a contract, it has to be the first item on the agenda. And this would just be this would be a call meeting on the 19th. Now, if we're not ready, we can cancel the meeting, but I prefer us to do it in the afternoon, 4:30 or something like that, if we can, if y'all are. Are you available then, Ms. Ross?
I get off at 4. I'll be late, like.
Do it at 5.
5? It's 5 o'clock on the 19th? Unless we cancel, but we need to get it published for the 19th, so we'll be clear on that if we are ready to make a decision. We may not be ready to make a decision.
Good.
I think think we've covered everything else that I have during the work session, so I'll start with board comments, and I'll start tonight with Mr. Robinson.
Appreciate that. Throw me out there.
I guess first congratulating all our students for the artwork up here. It's pretty amazing. That's a big talent right there. I struggle to draw stick people, so my talent is definitely not art. That's I guess other than that, well, I guess we'll be back though before Christmas, won't we?
Several times, probably.
Yeah, I guess that's about all I got then.
Mr. Snyder?
I would echo that, and I agree with Mr. Rafalowski. This is, whenever we can have students here, this is one of my favorite times too. And then secondly, I would just like to thank Ms. Penley, even though she didn't make it through, as I would thank all three candidates. I thought they did a very good job in their interview, and I appreciate them putting themselves out there to try to serve our community.
Mr. Price?
I agree totally with what Paul and Matt said. I can't draw a straight line with the ruler. I was very impressed with that artwork. Looking forward to this process, what the future holds for. I think we're going to hopefully go in the right direction, do great things. I continue to keep the family, the Long family, in your prayers with the loss of this child. That's a horrible thing. And just keep praying for them.
Mr. Anderson?
The same with the Vaughn family and the whole faculty, student, staff at Sullivan Heights. It's a tough thing the whole school's going through, so. The artwork, again, fantastic with that. One of my favorite times too. I really love I love to celebrate student achievement. I know that probably all of us here, sometimes the drudgery gets tough, but that's always the fun part, and we love that part of it. One that's going to give a call out, that's Ms. Bowles. We just, with one of our speakers tonight, you helped a lot, and I thank you so much. I know a lot of times you don't get a lot of that, but thank you. You very much so.
Russ?
Just want to reiterate some comments that have already been made. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Carter, thank you to Dr. Davis, thank you to Ms. Penley, because it is it's like bearing your soul when you put yourself out in front of the entire community to take on questions and answer them to the very best of your ability, but knowing that 7 people are intently staring at you, and who knows how many people are watching online. So to be able to even have the nerve to step out and do that, my hat is off to those people. So thank you to all 3 of you. Obviously, we only have 1 director if we had 3. We only have 1 director if we had 3. We had 3 great candidates, and we could have used all 3, but we only have 1. So I would also like to say that I do feel like I can speak for the entire board and say there have been lots of prayers, lots of thought, because what we want is what is best for every student, every teacher, every support staff member, and the entire community of Sullivan County. That's what this board wants in the end. So if you are a praying person, continue to pray for us as we go forward in making this very hard decision.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Hubbard and the highway department.
For setting the clock. For setting the clock.
Oh, no, I don't care about the clock. For the board that don't know, maybe they got the parking lot Bluff City fixed this week. The highway department came down and they did a beautiful job. You would not believe it. It not only corrected a safety issue, but it created more parking spaces. It's amazing how much bigger it made it look. Now, it took away my basketball playing place. On the other hand, the rims are lower. So we're going to mark off the court for parking spaces, and it's really made a big difference. So if you get a chance, pass along our appreciation to the highway department. Thanks for getting it done before cold weather, because it would have been maybe April before that got done. The other thing I'd like to mention is something I mentioned 3 months ago. Have we got a copy yet of what we are spending our $400,000 on? What do I have to do to get that? What do I have to do to get that list, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Iverson, you're on the commission now. Can somebody help get us detail of what we spend our money on? I mean, they screamed about transparency. I'd like to see what that $400,000 went for.
We will request the Financial Management Committee and Mr. Bailey get that information for us if he doesn't have it ready. Right, Mr. Iverson?
Sure.
With that, I'll just say Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
And during the work session, we talked about the TSBA legislation. If you would send me any thoughts you have on that, and if we need to write resolutions for the January agenda, we can do that also. So take your copy and look at that, see if you can support each one that's listed there. Anything else before we close?
Mr. Chairman, a couple of those recommendations, do we know how, will we get some feedback from how our administrators and teachers feel about a couple of those, specifically the one you pointed out about the 3rd grade issue? I'd like to know what our experts think about that. I have my own opinion, but I'm not an expert on that.
And the one about using teachers that haven't been through the student teaching yet too, so it's kind of interesting. I'd like to know what they think about that.
We'll try to put together some type of survey to see if we can come up with some input from them for any thoughts they may have. Anything else? If not, this meeting is adjourned.